Moses, God calls from the wilderness. Moses grew up in Pharaoh's palace, surrounded by power and privilege. He was educated and protected, yet he knew he was Hebrew and that his people were enslaved. The tension between who he was and where he lived never left him. One day, Moses saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew slave. Rage rose fast. He looked around, saw no one watching, and killed the Egyptian. He hid the body in the sand. Moses thought he was defending justice. Instead, he crossed a line he could not undo. The next day, Moses tried to stop two Hebrews from fighting. Instead of gratitude, he was confronted. "Who made you ruler and judge over us? Are you thinking of killing me as you killed the Egyptian?" In that moment, Moses understood his crime was known. When Pharaoh heard he sought Moses' life, the prince became a fugitive overnight. Moses fled Egypt with nothing, no authority, no future, no protection. The world he knew closed behind him. What he had done would follow him. Moses ended up in Midian, far from Egypt. He sat by a well, displaced and alone. The silence around him felt like a verdict. He had acted violently, even with good intentions. Now his life was marked by it. In Midian, Moses defended shepherd women from harassment at the well. Their father, Jethro, invited him to stay. Moses married Zipporah, and they had a son. He named him Gershom. "I have become a foreigner in a foreign land." Moses became a shepherd. In Egypt, shepherds were despised. For 40 years, he tended flocks in the wilderness. Days of routine, isolation, and unremarkable work. The years didn't feel holy. They felt quiet. By the time those years passed, Moses was 80 years old. Whatever ambitions he once carried had faded. Life narrowed to weather, sheep, and distance. If God still had plans for him, Moses had learned not to expect them. Then one day, while tending the flock, Moses saw something he couldn't explain. A bush burning without being consumed. He stepped closer. The wilderness, after decades of silence, answered back. God spoke from the fire. "Moses, Moses." God told him he had seen the suffering of his people in Egypt and heard their cries. He was ready to deliver them. Then came the words Moses never expected. "Go, I am sending you to Pharaoh." The call did not come in Egypt's palace. It did not come when Moses was young, connected, or powerful. The timing itself felt unreasonable. The call came in the wilderness after 40 years of silence. Moses resisted immediately. "Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh?" He wasn't asking for reassurance. He was naming reality. He was 80, a shepherd, a foreigner, a man with blood on his hands. When he fled, he had authority. Now he had none. "What if they don't believe me?" Moses asked. It was not theoretical. The last time he tried to help his people, they rejected him. "Who made you ruler and judge over us?" Those words had followed him for 40 years. "I have never been eloquent," Moses said. "I am slow of speech and tongue." This was not false modesty. It was self-knowledge earned through decades of isolation. Whatever gifts he once had felt buried under years of silence. It felt like God was calling the wrong man. God did not flatter Moses into courage. He did not deny the objections or pretend they were not real. Instead, God said, "Who gave human beings their mouths? Is it not I, the Lord? Now go, I will help you speak." It was not a dismissal of Moses' weakness. It was a reframing of the question. The issue was not Moses' adequacy. The issue was God's presence. Moses still resisted. "Please send someone else." He meant it. God's anger burned, but he did not withdraw the call. He appointed Aaron to speak alongside Moses. He gave signs, a staff that became a snake, a hand struck with leprosy and healed. God addressed the obstacles without erasing them. Then God said it plainly, "I will be with you." The call stood, not because Moses was qualified, but because God had decided to act. Moses returned to Egypt. The man who fled as a criminal stood before Pharaoh as God's messenger. The shepherd confronted the empire. The exile became the deliverer. God did not erase Moses' past. He redeemed it. The wilderness years had been doing their work. They shaped a leader who no longer relied on position or strength, but on God. Moses' life did not unfold as expected. He grew up in a palace, but became a fugitive. The call came late, after failure, when he believed his story was finished. But God had not forgotten him. God called Moses from the wilderness. And Moses went, "I will be with you." Exodus chapter 3, verse 12.